What's up, everybody? Welcome to a Thursday edition of JayC Live, and it looks like we've got a pretty full house in here. I see Michael. What's up? Looks like you guys are already talking Batman, the Batman movie, which I have not yet seen. I'm debating on whether to go see it this weekend, but I have not yet seen it. So I see some of you saying no spoilers. I agree. Leave the spoilers out. Lord Vengar is in the house. What's up? Damien's in the house. Looking forward to talking Thundercats and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles from Super 7, I assume, which we definitely can talk about tonight. Kyle has seen the Batman twice and gives the movie high praise. And John agrees. The best Batman movie ever by a landslide. Damn, man, that I can see it being good, but really the best Batman movie ever? Oh, that's kind of hard to believe. No spoilers. I haven't seen it yet. I couldn't talk spoilers even if I wanted to. Kyle says go to the bathroom first. Will do. I guess it's a long one. Toy Master is in the house. What's up? What Bruce Wayne? No way Batman's Bruce Wayne. You're just talking foolishness now. That's like saying Clark Kent's Superman. I mean, surely we could tell if Clark Kent was Superman. Yeah, it's not like glasses would keep us from being able to determine his secret identity. Blake is in the house. Blake's wondering if it's better than The Dark Knight. See, that's my thing is like, and I'm just going purely by the trailers and stuff that I've seen for the movie. The bad guys just don't look all that interesting. I mean, the Riddler and Penguin to me just don't really look like Riddler and Penguin. And I don't know, the trailers at least has not excited me. Yeah, I got past the whole Pattinson as Batman, and in fact he might actually do a pretty good job, but I just the villains just weren't really, and to me, a Batman movie is all about the villains. Let's be honest, it's the villains that really make those movies. So um I'm not saying it's bad. I'm just saying it has not, the trailers at least has not done a great job of exciting me for that movie. But I am debating whether I want to go see it this weekend. They have in my area, they've listed or lifted mask mandates, for COVID, as I think they have in most places. So, I can go see a movie without having to wear a mask the entire time. But I also saw like AMC theaters had jacked up the prices on this particular movie because they knew people were going to go see it, which, I think is kind of a dick move. But, and I think mostly that's all we have in this area is AMC theaters. But I'm still debating on whether to go see it this weekend. But I'm glad you guys who have seen it seem to like it. That definitely kind of instills more confidence in wanting to go see it. The mic is, I don't know why we keep having this problem with the mic for some. And like I'll listen to it on after it's recorded, and my voice here is fine, but sometimes you guys, I don't know. But I'll move closer so you guys hopefully can hear me better. Michael is going to see it Saturday. Yeah, the earliest I probably would see it is Saturday. I don't think I'll get a chance to see it tomorrow. So, yeah, Saturday would probably be the most likely day I go see it as well. I'm, as far as Batman goes, and I again, I'm all about like the connective universe. I mean, I guess Marvel has just spoiled me on that front when it comes to Marvel or comic book movies. So, the fact that this really has no ties to the last time we saw Batman on the big screen, the Justice League and all that, it definitely makes me less interested in the movie because it's like, okay, this is kind of its own thing, one and done. It doesn't mean it's a bad movie, but the Joker movie, like for instance, really didn't interest me as much, and I did think that movie was kind of boring, to be absolutely honest. But just because it had no connection with anything else, and we've got all these different versions, popping up everywhere now. I mean, I'm interested in seeing the Flash movie, and seeing how Michael Keaton and the Ben Affleck Batman kind of come together, and it looks like Michael Keaton Batman is back in a fairly regular capacity, being he's also going to be in that Batgirl movie. But this just seems to me like it's kind of its own thing off, and has no bearing on anything else. So I'm not sure if you're agreeing with me, but yeah, I just I mean definitely was a good portrayal of like a real what somebody if it was real life, not a comic book movie. I think Joker did a good job of portraying how you can lose your mind and basically go crazy and do things like he did. But at the same time, I really didn't think it was that super exciting of a movie. Thank you, Thor Gold. Uh, I have not yet started watching the CGI series, so that's another thing I've got on top for this weekend. So no spoilers on that one either. But if you've seen it, Michael, hopefully, you can let us know if you give it a thumbs up or thumbs down. Spaceman is agreeing with me. Yeah, when I say that, or at least when I've said that in the past, a lot of people like jump down my throat. Oh, how dare you say the Joker was boring? It was great. It was fantastic. And I don't know. Out of all the Jokers we've seen on the big screen, I found that one to be the least interesting. What's up, Lewis? So I don't have a specific, really a big specific agenda for tonight's video. So I'm kind of letting you guys steer the conversation here. Definitely, today we got some new reveals from Super 7 with those Ultimates Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle figures. So we can talk about that if you want. We got a tease for a new Thundercats figure. So we can talk about that also from Super 7. Capona Bear with the super chat donation as always, man. Much appreciated. And Eric is throwing his support in for the Joker movie. Now, don't get me wrong. I mean, the Joker movie, it wasn't like, oh my God, I can't stand this movie. This movie's horrible. I mean, definitely not that. It's just like, but like compared to like the Heath Ledger Joker or Jack Nicholson Joker, I just thought those were much better, comic book representations. And again, I realized that this movie was more shooting for like what would a realistic Joker be like. But I guess I don't go to see comic book movies for that much realism. Spaceman is liking the Man Bat figure from McFarlane Toys. Yeah, I definitely. I felt like that was probably the best reveal, at least on the DC Multiverse front, from their Toy Fair reveals. Killer Croc was cool, but I already actually have the DC Direct Arkham one, so that one isn't as interesting to me. Of course, I have the Mattel comic book based one as well, but which was a really even though it was Mattel, it was actually that build a figure that they did towards the end of the line of Killer Croc is actually a really good figure. But that Man Bat, I think that Man Bat looks better than like the ones that DC Collectibles did. And I can't remember if Mattel did one or not, but definitely that was probably my favorite reveal of the weekend last weekend. I, for DC movies, I'm definitely looking forward to the Flash. Because Michael Keaton is the Batman that really got me into Batman. So, you know, I'm sure someone could make a argument for Kristen Bale as the best Batman, or maybe even Ben Affleck. Though probably less people arguing for Ben Affleck, but for me, Michael Keaton and the original Batman movie is just that's one of the best Batman movies out there. Now, it's a little dated, but so I'm looking forward to Flash. I think Black Adam has a good chance of being a really good movie. I'm looking forward to the Rock with as Black Adam. I think that one will be good. Batgirl, that definitely has some potential as well. That's an HBO Max movie, so but that one might be good as well. Um, John Cena is already like trying to get The Rock, I think, to come on, make a guest appearance on season 2 of Peacemaker, The Rock versus Cena. That would be interesting. Bean says, for some reason, was expecting more from McFarlane this past weekend, but he did show a lot. He showed a fair amount, but I guess it probably didn't help that a lot of it started leaking out early thanks to Amazon. So we saw half the DC stuff, the day before. Um, I was a little disappointed we did not get those details on the next Spawn Kickstarter. He teased it with the medieval Spawn, but he didn't actually go on and give us the details. So I was kind of expecting that was going to happen at the end of the weekend, and it didn't. So I don't know when they're going to actually officially announce that. I like Ben Affleck as Bruce Wayne. I thought he did a good Bruce Wayne. Um, I mean, he didn't do horrible Batman, but obviously, in my opinion, he really didn't get a good chance. I was really disappointed we didn't get the Batman movie with him facing off against Deathstroke, which was teased at the end of Justice League. That I would have really liked to have seen, but Jerry says these multiverses are getting confusing. Yeah, a little bit. I mean, I do wonder if, like, obviously I was a kid when the first Michael Keaton Batman movie came out. I was in high school, so but people who are younger, how many of them have actually seen the Michael Keaton Batman movies? I'm sure some have, but I have to wonder how many have actually gone back and watched, an older movie like that. Bonafide, could you see like Loose Collector get his hands on a license like Pit? That would be interesting. I don't really see it happening. If anybody did Pit, it would probably be McFarlane, I would think. But I mean, we've gotten a Pit figure before, but Eric wants a movie Watchmen. See, I like the HBO series. I mean, I'm waiting for when are we going to get another season of the HBO series, because I really enjoyed that HBO series of Watchmen. I thought it was better than the movie, that came out years before. Damien, do I think McFarlane will do more 66 Batman figures? We've talked about that before. I would love to see him do those characters. I think probably a lot of it comes down to whether the likenesses, you know, if McFarlane can cut through the red tape of those actors and their estates to see if they can get the likeness rights for those characters. Apparently, he ran into difficulties getting Batgirl's likeness, even though Mattel had managed to do that. But I think that's what it probably hinges on, whether we see those characters done in the McFarlane line. And because Mattel didn't do them either, it makes me question on whether how readily available those actually are. But I would love to see that. I would love to see them do more bad guys from that show, go deep into the rogue gallery of that show. That would definitely be really cool. I haven't watched. Well, I know you're asking Jerry, but I haven't watched that show in a while. I watched the CW Flash. I missed the last season, the last full season of Flash, and then I watched that kind of mini crossover thing, which was okay. It wasn't fantastic, but I really kind of, for me personally, I have not really been following the CW shows. I'm waiting for the Superman. I watched season 1 of the Superman series, which I thought was pretty good, but I'm waiting for like the whole series or the whole second season to get done, and then I'll just watch the whole season at once. I don't know. I haven't heard anything specifically one way or the other, but it certainly seems like it's been a long time since we heard anything on that show. So maybe if it did get canceled, that's definitely disappointing to me because I thought it was really good. A new Bane figure. I don't remember seeing anything for another Bane figure. Well, I take that back. There was like some indications of a Bane figure, but it really wasn't clear on whether it was just like a variant of the one that we already got. So I think it may have just been a variant of the one that we got, but I've not really seen anything on like I mean I would love to see a comic book based Bane based on the when he breaks Batman's back and stuff, and I would love to see an Azrael in armor form. So that entire storyline, I would love to see McFarlane do figures of. But so far, I've not seen any indication of that. Now, we are supposed to be getting some Hush figures, so I was hoping we were going to see those last weekend, and we didn't, just because I'm interested to see if they're like Jim Lee inspired figures or what have you. But I guess we'll have to wait a little bit longer on those. No, man, I have not heard anything on Dungeons and Dragons. I haven't even heard much on the movement of the movie, and I suspect, a lot is tied to that. So I don't know if COVID slowed things down on that front, but I have not really heard anything new on Dungeons and Dragons. Do I want Mattel to get the DC license back? McFarlane is, I I doubt. I don't have a strong preference to be honest, but I doubt that Mattel would get it back, especially if Todd's been touting pretty good sales for that line. So my guess is if unless he decided not to uh, keep it, my guess is he will end up keeping it when the initial 3 years expires. So I would not expect that license to change hands. Let's see. Thor Gold couldn't get in. I like the Titan series. I mean, there were issue, there were times where it kind of lagged a little bit, but overall I thought it was pretty good. I mean, it could have been better, but I didn't think it was horrible. I mean, I've definitely when the next season comes, we'll check it out. I didn't really like the end of this past season. I thought this past season was probably the weakest season. Um, the whole rain thing I thought was kind of lame. Amps. No, we were talking about that just a few minutes ago. So no, I was kind of expecting Todd to do a video and announce that at the end of last weekend, and he didn't. So obviously he is getting close, as he was teasing it last weekend, and it's definitely going to be the medieval spawn, but I don't know exactly when he's going to launch that. But again, it looks like it's probably going to be fairly close, being that they were teasing it pretty heavily last weekend. Believe it or not, Hasbro in the past has had the DC license. I mean, long before we started getting into 6-inch articulated type figures like we have today. But Hasbro's actually had the DC license before. I think it would be interesting, but I don't see it ever happening. I don't see Hasbro, as long as they have the Marvel license, I don't see them ever getting the DC license. Blake, has anyone catch Guardians of Justice? No, but that's another one that I'm hoping to watch here pretty soon. Glad, or let me clarify. When you say bonkers, is that good or bad? Hey, what's up, man? Glad you were able to make it this time, Mr. X. Yeah, like I said, it would be interesting to see, but as long as Hasbro has the Marvel license, I don't see them ever getting the DC license. My guess is Warner Brothers is not going to want the same company that does Marvel doing DC, and I could be wrong on that, but I think if Marvel could have gotten the DC license, they would have gotten it when Mattel lost it. What's Guardians? It's another like kind of generic superhero series where, like, I guess reading the description, it's like disgruntled superheroes or something. I don't know. I haven't watched it, but it looked interesting enough that I definitely will at some point. And yeah, it's on Netflix. See, I disagree. I think DC Icons was better than DC UC, but that's just me. Well, Hasbro's raising their prices on Marvel Legend figures and most of their 6-inch figures to $25 this year. So with the new waves that start going up for pre-order, you're seeing the new prices. So that's not just store exclusives. That's going to be all regular sized Marvel Legend figures. The MSRP is now $24.99. Now I noticed like Amazon, which bigger retailers can often as they try and squeeze out the little guy, can stave off the price increases because they can afford to take a loss for a little bit. So I noticed like Amazon, they started out at $25 for that US agent wave, but then I think here recently they put them back to the $23. So uh but I don't it's not that the price is not going up, it's just I think Amazon is just trying to get people to buy it from them as opposed to like the small e-tailers. Yeah, so see, we talked about that's how we started tonight. But yes, a couple people have already seen it. Some people are going Saturday. I'm still debating on whether I'm going to go see it. But if I do go see it, it won't be until Saturday. Well, when you say you've seen it, you mean you've seen it on your price list for upcoming figures, or you mean you've seen it at actual stores? Well, they're more durable than most NECA figures. The DC Icons I thought was a really cool line. And started out with good accessories and stuff, but then as they were trying to keep prices down, I think they kind of started to skimp out on accessories, and I think at that point the line kind of puttered out. But I still think it's a pretty good line. My thing with DC UC is just like all the bodies look almost identical to one another, and it's not that they're bad. I just they're not as interesting to me. And then when Mattel started selling a lot of them on like Matty Collector, at that point I was like, yeah, I'm not even gonna bother. Yep, mine got canceled. I got the cancellation notice this morning. I was not too happy. And what really irks me on that, and I posted about this on Facebook today, is this was advertised as a Disney, that X Force 3 pack was advertised as a Disney Shop Disney exclusive by Hasbro. And so, like with a lot of the exclusives, they were like, we're going to sell a limited number of them on Hasbro Pulse, making them first available to those who are willing to pay the extra $50 for premium membership, which, as I've said many times, I think is a total crock. So, I went to Shop Disney and I pre-ordered it there because it was advertised as their exclusive, when it first went up. And, I've been sitting here waiting and waiting and waiting. I saw Hasbro Pulse shipping out theirs to people. They put it up a couple, they opened pre-orders again a couple different times, and then, but still nothing from Shop Disney. And then, like I said, today I got the cancellation notice. They gave me a $20 credit. Like, oh, we're so sorry for the inconvenience. Here's a $20 credit. But I don't want a $20 credit. I want the set that I pre-ordered. So the fact that Hasbro's been shipping those out to people through their own website before, they made sure Disney was able to fulfill their orders really kind of irks me. It's not so much the set itself. I mean, I did want to get Richter, but it's not the end of the world if I didn't get this set. Richter was an original member of the original X-Force team. So, and I don't really care that much about the cannonball with legs, and the domino I probably like a little bit better, but again, I already have a decent domino figure. So it's not the end of the world if I don't get that set, but it really kind of irked me that, it was advertised as a Disney exclusive, but yet some reason Disney's not able to fulfill their orders while Hasbro's sitting there fulfilling orders through Hasbro Pulse. If they had said it was a Hasbro Pulse exclusive, had made it a Pulse exclusive, then I would have gone to Hasbro Pulse, assuming they had made enough available for everybody, not just those that pre-ordered it for $50 or, paid the $50 premium price, and I would have pre-ordered it there. But because it was advertised as a Shop Disney exclusive, that's where I went. That's, obviously stupidly, but that's what irks me about that whole situation. Now I some people have told me that like the Disney stores at the parks have a ton of these 3 packs just sitting on the shelf. So, I don't know what's up with that. I don't really know whose fault it is that, Disney is not fulfilling their pre-orders or what, but it definitely kind of pisses me off that happened. So, I guess, like I said, I got a $20 store credit from Disney, but I would have really rather had the 3 pack. Richter's suit in the 90s, excellence. I mean, like I said, that's the main reason why I got the set, because I did want Richter, because even though he wasn't like technically an original member of X-Force, he was on the New Mutants before they became X-Force, and then he left and then shortly came back to X-Force. So I mean, he's definitely kind of been a part of he was a part of that team. But I don't know. So we can, since we're bringing that up, let's so before we get into the turtle stuff from Super 7, tomorrow is bring your action figure to work day. So if, you know, I work with action figures every day, so it's not a big deal to me, but if you want to take your action figure to work and take a picture, you can throw it up on social media. Use the tag AFWD 2022, and you know, they do this every year where they try and make this action figure workday thing. So yeah, it's kind of cool if you want to take your figures to work, and like I said, take a picture. So just a little heads up on that, and that's again is tomorrow, Friday. But let us so if you caught my news video on Wednesday, I told you these were coming today. So yeah, this is the gorilla figure that they teased, Sergeant Bananas. And you're right, this really doesn't look like the original toy. I think this looks better than the original toy. But being that the Super 7 stuff is supposed to be replications of the original toys, you know, this one definitely kind of deviates quite a bit, mainly because on the original toy, if I remember correctly, his skin is like green. It's like a camo color. But I think it's a cool looking figure. I mean, if we're being honest, I definitely feel like it's a cool looking figure. And we got the Triceraton, Punker Don, and Robotic Bebop, which of course we're getting a NECA version and a 2-pack as well. That was, I showed you guys that on Wednesday. But I don't really collect the Super 7 turtle figures, so you know, I don't have a strong opinion on these. But yeah, I mean, I agree with you. It's kind of weird that they didn't make it look more like the toy. Now, also from Super 7, they teased Mandora, which so I believe back in November when they were teasing the 5th wave of Ultimates, I think it was in a live stream actually where I told you guys there was supposed to be a 5th figure, and it was a 5th figure with a vehicle. Like we had started to see them do 5 figures in a wave with the Silverhawks, and they, you know, kind of doing like vehicle or type things. They had the throne in the Silverhawks wave. So it looked like they were going to start doing that with Thundercats in wave 5, and Mandora with her vehicle was that figure. But then when the actual you know, the figures went up for pre-order, they only ended up doing 4. So now they're showing us a preview from Mandora, which makes me think that the vehicle is going to be coming here with her. I don't know if this is I haven't had time to really do much checking to see if this is going to be uh, part of Wave 6, if this is a Wave 6 tease, or if this is, you know, I could see this maybe being a standalone deluxe type figure with the vehicle. I don't know. Super 7 has just said coming soon on it, but and so Mandora is definitely coming, and I suspect she'll have her vehicle, whether it's part of Wave 6 or something like a standalone, I don't know, but yeah, so I'll try and find that out for you guys, you know, maybe by tomorrow. But this reveal came late enough in the day that I haven't had a chance to really check on it to see. But and since they said coming soon as opposed to like pre-order tomorrow, I don't think it's something like we're gonna see go up for pre-order tomorrow. I won't say that 100%, but usually when they just say coming soon, it's probably something we'll see next week go up for pre-order. But you don't want me driving your wedding. You probably wouldn't get there alive. Congrats though on the wedding. Oh yeah, the gorilla figure is more expensive. Oh, you're talking about Mandora. The going back to the turtles, the I think the gorilla figure is Sergeant Banana's figure is I want to say $75. I agree with you, Danny. I'm still waiting on my Thundercat figures. Well, it's wave. I lost track what actual wave it's supposed to be. I forget whether it's wave 3 or wave 2, but yeah, the wave. Yeah, that wave was supposed to be shipping and it hasn't. 1983 says they need to do real Ghostbusters. Are you talking Super 7 or Hasbro? TNA's. Did I see the new Mezco Monsters Tower? I don't think so. Uh, is that something they revealed today? I don't remember off the top of my head. Yeah, Jatara is delayed, so even when the rest of the figures in that wave ship, Jatara is not going to ship with them. But I thought that the other figures in that wave were supposed to be coming out now, and they haven't yet. And just in case you guys didn't see it, so first of all, Neca's doing a glow in the dark Muckman, which will be. I'm thinking this is going to be a Haul-A-Thon. That Target Haul-A-Thon thing. I think that's when this is going to get offered. I don't know if it'll be the first one, but and it's just it's the same figure we got before, only it glows in the dark. And then Neca's got their own Robotic, Rocksteady, and Bebop coming in a 2-pack. Which is technically based on the cartoon, whereas Super Sevens is based on the original toy. Oh, the 5-point thing. Yeah, I did see that. It looks cool, but yeah, I'm not paying that much money for some. Those 5-point sets look cool, like the Batman one, the '66 Batman one they did. That looked pretty cool, but for me, what you get, it's a little bit out of. I think it's a little too expensive. I'm not really into these 5 points of articulated figures that everybody's doing. McFarlane announced those DC Page Puncher figures. Yeah, I have no interest in those. I have little interest in Marvel Legend ones. I got Captain American U.S. Agent, but that's really the only two I plan on getting in that line. In fact, I have the U.S. Agent one here, but I just, 5 points, where you can't even bend the elbows or the knees. I just don't really see the point of it. I mean, I get why the companies are doing it, because they can make a 5-point of articulated figure much cheaper than they can one that has a lot of articulation, and with the raising costs, they're trying to give something cheap to people, or cheaper to people. And of course, smaller companies like Mezco and Super 7 with the reaction, they're not super cheap really, but I just in general am not into 5 points of articulated figures. How many gargoyle figures from Neca are going to get released this year? As far as actual release, I don't know. I mean, we've seen what, not counting the one that's already out, the Goliath figure, but we got Hudson, and then I think they've shown off what, three or four others, five actually. I think they've shown off, but how many of them actually get released this year? Probably maybe two. I could see maybe two. Now, going up for pre-order, we might probably see more go up for actual pre-order, but actually getting released, I don't know. I think there's going to be a if you're talking about the animated series Turtles, I think there's going to be a new 4-pack. We saw a glimpse of that in a video from Kevin Eastman the other day. So I think they're going to do a 4-pack with the 4 turtles. Neil, and I assume we're talking about the no gun policy. I agree, it's a stupid policy. I mean, you can have your figures with knives and other weapons, but you can't have them with guns. I mean, if you're anti-violence, then that's one thing. But just selecting guns, I mean, I know why they're doing it, and definitely, we have a problem with guns in this country, but I feel like, it's just to me kind of stupid. But companies are gonna do what companies are gonna do. Their log is already at targets. That's the second one, so I could see, and I'd have to go look. I mean, Hudson just went up for pre-order last week, so I don't know. I forget what the release date for that one was. The movie figures. I mean, probably. I think most companies know that if they want to keep the line, get new people involved in the line, they have to periodically find ways to release the turtles. So, like in the case of the movie Turtles, we've got the Secret of the Ooze figures coming. That was announced. They're doing the 4-pack, which is very similar to the previous movie Turtles, I think. So that's basically going to be your next chance to get the movie Turtles, is getting the Secret of the Ooze ones. But at some point they'll probably find a way to do the original ones. I wouldn't be surprised, but you've always got to find a way to get like those main characters into people's hands, because people who come to the line late, you're not going to collect a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle line if you don't have the actual turtle. So, you know, usually those figures will get periodically re-released in some way or some variant form, just so that people have a shot at getting the turtles. Do I have any wrestling figures? I have a few. I mean, I don't actively I haven't watched wrestling since the late 90s, but well, that's not true. I was watching wrestling in the early 2000s, but I haven't watched wrestling in a very long time. But I have a few figures here and there, but it's not something I actively collect on a regular basis. Yes, it's a Warner Brothers policy, so anything that's related to Warner Brothers, um, basically they're not supposed to include actual guns. But like you get the Hot Toys figure the Peacemaker figure that they just showed. He's got his gun in the holster. It doesn't look like it's removable, but it's there in the holster. So it's kind of like, what's the point? it kind of defeats the purpose if you're going to have the gun featured on the figure, but you're not actually allowed to have the gun actually removable. The Blackhawks The Blackhawk says, hope they can match the shiny paint job that Robotic Bebop has when the Silverhawks get released. The Silverhawks that Super 7 are doing don't look too shiny. Now that maybe at some point they'll do a shiny version, but that overseas company's doing some Silverhawk figures, and they're much more expensive. But if you want shiny Silverhawks, that's probably the route that you want to go, assuming you're willing to pay the extra money. And yes, even though Super 7 is expensive, that other company is even more expensive. And sorry, the name of that company has slipped my mind off the top of my head. I don't have anything new really as far as secret information to share with you guys. Um, I mean, if you got a specific question, I'll try and answer it as best I can, but I don't really have anything like major breaking that to share with you on that I haven't talked about already in the past. Raymond Toys, thank you. Neil, yes. Raymond Toys, the overseas company, is making Silverhawks. Or at least they're making a Silverhawk figure, and definitely looks much more shiny than the Super 7 one. Thank you, Weasel95. Well, like I said, what exactly specifically are you interested in? There's plenty of things I've talked about before, so I don't know if you've heard everything I've talked about in the past. I don't have anything new for you today, but like I said, if you have a question and it's something I've mentioned in the past, I could maybe reiterate it here, but not a specific one, not that I've seen. I did not. Um, Now, he actually, brought that figure to my attention, and he told me that Big Bad Toy Store will be carrying that figure at some point. Assuming, I guess, that it reaches its Kickstarter goal. But I mean, I got to be honest with you. I mean, it looks like an interesting figure, but I mean, to me, it's like just a really big, giant body on a tiny head. So I don't know. Just that particular figure didn't do a whole lot for me. Now that critter figure that I talked about in yesterday's news video, that actually looks like a really nice figure that he's doing. But that big giant hide figure for me personally, I mean, I guess he'd be a good bad guy to go up against your Hulk or something. But yeah, they Super Seven's not doing Ghostbuster figures at the moment, so anything's possible. They seem to pick up licenses left and right, and I'm not really sure if Hasbro's got a lot of plans for Ghostbusters moving forward. So anything's possible down the road, but I've not heard anything about Super 7 doing Ghostbusters. Well, Neil, all I have for, as I said, the Mandora figure, which I think was originally going to be in Wave 5, I think we'll have a vehicle. Um, but I just haven't had enough time to do digging on that to find out if it's part of the next wave or something. So when I find out, I'll talk about it in a future video. But other than, as I said, I had seen indications that back when Wave 5 was going up, that Mandora was going to be part of that wave and was going to have a vehicle. So now that we're getting the Mandora figure tease from Super 7, I assume, she probably will have the vehicle. Whether it's part of Wave 6 or standalone, I don't know. But I will try and do some digging, and when I find out, I'll let you guys know. Roman noodles, that was like the go-to meal in college, but yeah, I haven't. Yeah, she was shown today, and as I said, initial info I had seen back when we were talking Wave 5 was that she was going to be in that wave with a vehicle. So I suspect she will come with a vehicle, but I don't know. You know, obviously she didn't come with in Wave 5, and I don't know yet whether she's going to be in Wave 6 or, like I said, maybe a standalone with a deluxe standalone with her vehicle is a possibility. But I don't know. You know, again, because the reveal was just made late this evening, I have not had enough time to really find out anything on that, other than to say that back in November, I'd seen indications that she was going to be released with a vehicle. Nothing. I mean, other than those two, the 2 pack with the robot Rocksteady and Bebop and the glow in the dark, and I'm talking NECA here, the glow in the dark Muckman, and then I think there's also going to be a 4 pack with animated series figures. But no, I don't have anything. Weasel, do I think Marvel Legends going to make a new Moon Knight figure? I know almost definitely there's going to be at least one Disney Plus version of Moon Knight in the next Disney Plus wave. I don't know what version. And then in that last live stream Hasbro had, they seemed to kind of tease like maybe there's going to be more than one. So I could maybe see them doing more than one version. One maybe is like a standalone or an exclusive. But yes, definitely there's going to be at least one Disney Plus Moon Knight figure coming this year, and it will be based on info I've seen will be in the next Disney Plus wave. But beyond that, I have not heard anything. You know, we just got the Walgreens exclusive last year. I think it was last year. Maybe it was the year before. I lose track. But yeah, we fairly recently got the comic book one as the Walgreens exclusive. Have not heard any kind of Gorath rumors for Marvel Legends, so I wish I had, but I have not. And being we've already gotten the Doctor Strange wave, you know, I feel like there's probably not a good chance of that. There's definitely some kind of regular size Sentinel coming. Will be part of like the 20th anniversary offerings, but other than it being labeled as Sentinel and it's priced at the normal, you know, the new normal $25 price tag, I don't have any details. But some kind of Sentinel's coming. Um, a repaint of War Machine, I think that modular Iron Man that should be coming. Double Trouble Binary, I have not seen a lot of indication at Walgreens. Definitely hasn't been put up online. Quasar was made available again, and last time I checked earlier today, it was still available. So if you have not yet gotten your Quasar, you might want to head over to walgreens.com because I believe it is still available now. But as far as when Binary will be made available online, I don't know. Sorry, Vengar, I missed your question. What was your question? Good question. Over time, yes, I think slowly they will eventually be at least be put up on Walgreens.com like Quasar. But how long it's going to take? How will they ever get caught up with their with their overseas counterparts? I have no idea. No, I don't know exactly when McFarlane is going to start the Kickstarter. Being he was teasing it fairly heavy this weekend, I'm going to guess fairly soon. But and I was kind of expecting it was going to be this past weekend, like on Sunday. I thought they would do the official announcement, but we didn't obviously get that. So soon is all I can tell you at this time. Any news on Marvel Legends' new Spider-Man wave for the Spider-Man 60 anniversary? There are, I mean, we've talked about. I mean, there definitely and I don't have all the figure listings on the top of my head, but I mean, there's definitely a number of rumored figures for their 60th anniversary Spider-Man offerings, but I don't have anything new on that front, and I don't have the list in front of me, so I can't read you every single figure that's been rumored for that line. Hasbro in the last I know a lot of you have been asking about Spider-Man No Way Home figures, and Hasbro in the last live stream definitely said that they are looking to do more, but as I've said in the past, my guess is the reason why they're not going to be out probably even this year, is because the studio had kept all those characters a secret from Hasbro, and so they weren't actually able to start working on the figures until the movie came out, and it takes a couple years once they start working on a figure. It actually takes a couple years for it to get out, or so maybe next year we'll start seeing some more No Way Home figures in some shape or form, but I wouldn't expect anything this year. But Hasbro has said that they do plan on doing more, so it's just a matter of when. I have not heard anything on vehicles, more 66 vehicles. In fact, I've not really heard anything more beyond the ones that they just announced here, with the Penguin and the Boxing Glove Batman and Riddler and the Catwoman. So I don't remember what the last Kickstarter. I assume you're talking about Spawn. I don't remember off the top of my head the price of the last one. This one might be a little more. Prices have probably gone up, but off the top of my head, I don't remember. With Kickstarters, I mean that's something handled internally at McFarlane. So unless Todd were to call me up and say, "Hey, I'm doing," which he's not going to do when he announces it. I mean, I'm basically, uh, when it comes to like the Kickstarter, I'm just waiting. I won't know until Todd or McFarlane makes actual announcement. So as soon as he does, I'll be sure to let you guys know. But that's not really something where I'm going to have inside information on. The only reason why I knew it was Medieval Spawn is because, back last year, I think it was last March, Todd put out a video where he essentially said, "Hey, I'm going to do a Medieval Spawn Kickstarter." And of course, we were all expecting it to be sometime last year, and it didn't. And I'm guessing because of COVID and all the shipping delays and everything, they didn't want to launch it then. But, you know, that's really not something I'm going to have inside information on. Blake, thank you, brother, for the super chat donation as always. Yeah, love getting together to talk toys. I love giving you guys news and information, but just chatting with you guys is always enjoyable. So, as far as writer figures, I have not seen anything for writer figures this year. There's been a long-standing rumor, I think that was started by Rectangular, about there being a Hawkeye figure with a Sky Cycle, but I never had seen anything to indicate that was coming, and I don't know if that was something that was coming that got canceled. I don't know if that's something that still could be coming, but I have not seen anything for any more writer figures. And I kind of feel like maybe that is a line that Hasbro is primarily done with, at least for now, especially with rising prices. Um, they seem to have went from the writer figures to the mega deluxe figures. So, like we're getting the Mojo figure, which will be a mega deluxe like the MODOK figure last year. And, so again, I can't tell you definitively that there's not going to be writers, but there's nothing I've seen that would suggest that we're getting writer figure, a vehicle and a figure this year, unless it were like a, any kind of store exclusive is possible, or like a con exclusive, but again, nothing I've seen would suggest it at this time. Weasel says they restocked every figure at his Target, every NECA figure at his Target in Baltimore, and they're just sitting there. They restocked all the GI Joe figures as well. Yeah, well, yeah. So like, NECA, the pre-orders just closed on those NECA 2 packs for the turtles, the gang members and the infantry troopers. I actually decided not to pre-order those. Um, I've, you know, with these recent 2 packs that are with the much more obscure characters, they have shown up fairly readily at my local Targets. And you got to pay the shipping through NECA. So I decided if I get those, I'll just, if I happen to see them at Target, I'll get them. But I did not. I decided not to pre-order those through NECA specifically. So um, look, I mean, the Cygor articulation's pretty much same as like the other mega figures that they've done. It's just other than they put that wire on the arm, which I didn't really like. But I don't know. I thought it was an okay. I mean, from the for the Spawn reveals, the overt kill figure is definitely the one I was most interested in. Uh, I'm sorry, I don't have any info on that. I have, I mean, as far as specific dates, no. But as I've talked about before, that will be a 6-inch line, and it will start off with like the first, at least the first wave, if not first couple waves, will start off based on classic characters, and then they'll move as it gets closer to the. I mean, it's gonna be next year, or at the very earliest the end of this year, but we're gonna start off with classic 6-inch figures. I don't have specifics, though I'm sure like Indiana Jones will definitely be one of them. But classic figures, and then as we get closer to the movie's release, the new movie's release, we'll start seeing some figures based on that as well. Jerry says found the McFarlane Dark Knight Wave marked $19 on shelf, but were actually $25 each. Meaning when you went to check out, it rang up as 25, or meaning you've seen it for 25 other places. I assume you mean for Indiana Jones. I've not seen anything for smaller scale figures. I won't say it's impossible, but I feel like if they do smaller scale figures, well, you're talking about like 5 points of articulated figures. I mean, that's possible. Hasbro seems to love to do those, so I wouldn't be totally surprised. I've not seen anything for that, but I haven't done a lot of digging on that either. So, to be honest, but I could see them anything smaller scale. I'm guessing probably would end up being like a store exclusive. So, but I've not seen anything specific for smaller scale Indiana Jones. Doesn't mean it's not going to happen, but yeah, like I can almost never tell you definitively something's not going to happen, because just because I haven't seen it doesn't mean it's not going to happen. It just but so I you can either tell you yeah it's something I've seen, or I don't know, but like like I said, I can't tell you definitively something's not going to happen. Just because I haven't seen it doesn't mean necessarily it's definitely not going to happen. As much as I try, there are things that, I don't find out about until they're officially announced, or they slip by me or what have you. I mean, so many like overseas listings and stuff, and do I miss some sometimes? Yeah, it's certainly possible. What's up, Mr. Bush? How you doing? I guess I shouldn't assume Mr., but Turtle Dave, welcome. Well, we're still here, so you haven't totally missed it. You've caught the tail end. But you have missed, we talked about turtles earlier, so. Deal says we need Shia Mutt for the indie line with a bag over his head that says, I'm not famous. Oh, don't be cruel. Oh, I mean, yeah, definitely. But those will come from Playmates Toys, so. Speaking of Playmates, I don't know how many of you guys are into Star Trek here. I'm a huge Star Trek fan. Which, by the way, I need to go catch the new episode of Picard and Discovery that hit today. But I don't know if you guys saw the packaging for the new Playmates Toys Star Trek figures. So very reminiscent of the original, 90s figures that Playmates Toys did, which I thought's pretty cool. And these are 5-inch figures if you haven't been following the news. So the Discovery figures get new packaging since obviously there wasn't a Discovery line back in the 90s. And then here's the Enterprise. So, like I said, I don't know if any of you guys care about Star Trek, but I just wanted to share that because I thought those were cool looking. I know, Neil, right? It's hard to believe, but yeah, there are some things I don't know. Even on a rare occasion, there are things I get wrong, but I try to be pretty. I try to keep my record pretty good. Yeah, I like the con figure. I wish the Discovery figures were based on the most recent season, not like the first season, but I'm sure eventually they'll do something more. Are you saying it's 2 a.m. where you are? Damn. If that's true, thanks for staying up so late. Capona says nostalgia isn't strong enough for you to buy. Okay, I'll be honest. I think they're cool, but I haven't decided on whether I'm going to get those. So I'm kind of with you there, but I still think that the packaging's really cool. I still have like most of my Playmates Star Trek figures from the 90s, so they're opened. I don't have any. I have a few that are unopened, but most of them are opened. Like I'm more interested in the ships. Like I already have that Enterprise. I have the Playmates one that they originally did for that Enterprise. So, but I'm really what I want to see. Like I was really disappointed that Diamond Select Toys never got that Enterprise C out. Even though they still say that maybe it'll come out one day, but I'm hoping that Playmates does like an Enterprise C or some of the newer ships, like they're supposedly doing the Protostar from the Prodigy series, so that is something I definitely would be interested in. I'm more interested in the ships than the figures themselves, to be honest. I'm pretty like I have this the 7-inch Star Trek 2 figures that Diamond Select Toys / Art Asylum did. So I have those. I have the Star Trek Next Generation movie figures with the blue outfits. I like those outfits better than the TV outfits. So I have those figures. So and again, I have a lot of my original Playmates figures. Like I have from Playmates, I have the original Enterprise, I have the refit Enterprise, I have the Enterprise D, and then from Art Asylum / Diamonds Like Toys, I've got the Enterprise A, I've got the Enterprise E, and I've got the oh, and Playmates, I also have the Chris Pine Enterprise that they did. Oh, I have the Playmates toy shuttlecraft too, from Next Generation. I still have that. I think that was the first vehicle I actually bought, was that shuttlecraft. And I have Deep Space Nine from Playmates toys. I don't have Voyager, and I didn't get the Defiant from Playmates. John says we need a 6-inch Star Trek line. Yeah, I don't know. Star Trek just never no McFarlane tried the 7-inch figures. They didn't seem to do well. Playmates his or not Playmates, but Diamond Select has kind of struggled. Neil says he had all those Next Generation Playmates figures. Yeah, I mean, I still have most of mine, but I agree. I mean, I'm not super interested in those getting reissued. I would love to see updated figures and not just like Captain Picard, Captain Kirk, but I would like to see them, do the others and stuff. Yeah, the Enterprise, well, yeah, I agree. I have the Enterprise A, which technically is not from same ship, but it's just got the A on it. But yeah, that's my favorite version of the Enterprise. The refit Enterprise from the movies, the original Enterprise from the movies is my favorite Enterprise. So I'm a sucker for that Enterprise. And then probably my next favorite is the Enterprise E is my next favorite Enterprise. But I always wanted to like recreate my, how like in the Next Generation they had the wall of Enterprises. I always wanted to recreate that, but we never got all. Oh, I've got the Enterprise B. I do have the Enterprise B, but we never got like the Enterprise C, so I was never able to recreate that, and that was something I wanted to do. Yeah, I've got the Enterprise A, and I've got from Diamond Select, and I've got the Enterprise E from Diamond Select. I think that's from, yeah. The the E is from Diamond Select. Is the Masters of the Universe Origins line healthy or not? I would say so. I mean, we continue. Looks like we're continuing to get more figures. You know, I know a lot of people are like, well, I see figures on the shelves, and I do, like, I see a lot of He-Man and Skeletor, but the fact that retailers are stocking them means that they're ordering them. So I can't sit here and tell you how well they're selling, but as long as retailers are continuing to stock them, then that means Mattel's making money from them. We see a lot of kids lines that end up sitting on the that look like they're just sitting on the shelves because they're always there, but that really, we don't know if that means they're not selling or whether they're just retailers are carrying a lot of them. You see GI Joe Classified, you don't see those on the shelves a lot, but the real reason that is because the retailers aren't carrying those in large numbers. So those, even though it seems like they're selling well, they're only they're selling in limited numbers. So, but I've my thing is with He-Man is, and I've said this before, as long as there's entertainment properties pushing it, as long as we continue to get some form of the cartoon or the live action movie or what have you, I think we'll continue to see toys. Once those things get, if those things get canceled or what have you, then I would definitely start to worry about the longevity of He-Man on the toy shelves. But as long as those shows are getting picked up by Netflix or we're getting a live action movie or what have you, even if the movie sucks, I really don't care if the movie sucks or not, to be honest with you, but it means we will likely continue to get toys if that movie happens. So, my Hall of Armor's back there. My Enterprises are up in my main office. If you if you catch the tour video I did not too long ago, you can see I've got the Enterprise A hangs up, and then I've got the Chris Pine Enterprise and the Enterprise E, and then I've got the my figures kind of around them. But yeah, well, the Manatee figure I think was an Origins figure, so I'm assuming it'll look like the original figure. I certainly hope the movie will be good, but again, for me, it's more about, as long as there's some form of entertainment property pushing the brand, the chances are pretty good that we'll continue to see product for it. The moment there's no entertainment properties pushing those brands, that's when retailers like Walmart and Target will no longer be interested in carrying them, at which point a company like Mattel will lose interest in making them because Mattel's not going to make a line that's just sold strictly online. I mean, they did that with Matty Collector, but that was a whole different thing, and I definitely don't want to go back to Matty Collector days. So I yeah, good to hear. I've not yet started watching that. I've been too tuned into the news and everything going on in the world, but I definitely plan on trying to check that out this weekend. So glad to hear that it's good. See, I don't have a lot of classic figures. I picked up a few here and there. I mean, the classics line was a really good line, but I just wasn't going to deal with Matty Collector with those. So I picked up a few here and there. I've got like He-Man, Skeletor, and a few others, Trapjaw, Source. But I did not, I missed out on a lot of those because, again, I just wasn't really willing to deal with Matty Collector. But, and, based on rumors, it sounds like we might be getting some classic characters in the Masterverse line. So I'm kind of interested to see how well that pans out and how those look. Capona Bear says he watched episode one of that Netflix series. It was too weird, too soon to judge. No Lady J movie. There's supposed to be a live action Lady J series coming to Amazon. I haven't heard any recent updates on that, but and how good that ends up being, I have no idea. But again, something like that is good for the longevity of the line. Um, Especially being the Snake Eyes movie I'm sure didn't do as well as Hasbro had hoped it would. All right, well, it's getting on to be 8:30. As I said, I still want to go watch tonight the new episodes of the first episode of season 2 of Star Trek Picard. Hopefully, it will be better than season 1, which I was a little disappointed in. Had some good parts in season 1, but overall, I was a little disappointed in Picard season 1. And then the newest episode of Star Trek Discovery, which I've really enjoyed this latest season of Discovery. That show started off really rough when they were in the past, but now that they booted them up into the future, I think the show's gotten a lot better. So I want to check those out tonight. But I want to say thank you to everybody who tuned in tonight. As always, it's a pleasure to talk with you guys, just about pretty much anything that comes up, but mostly action figure related. And should have a news video up tomorrow, I believe. So hopefully you'll check that out. But as always, guys, stay safe out there. And be safe. Now more than ever, be safe out there, guys. Until next time.
Hey, thanks for watching today's video, and be sure to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and hit that bell notification so alerted every time I upload a new video. And be sure to head over to the Toy News International and Marvelous News message boards communities. It's a great place to talk toys and win cool contests like $100 store credits to Big Bad Toy Store. And remember, action figures are great.